Something in your life right now isn't working. You know it isn't, but you are still there. You're not holding on to it because it's good for you. You're holding on to it because of everything you already poured into it. The years, the money, the effort, the version of yourself that believed in it. And somewhere along the way, you stopped asking whether the thing is still worth having, because you were too busy defending the fact that you already paid for it. There's a name for this. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. And knowing what it's called changes almost nothing. Plenty of people understand it perfectly and still build their lives around it. The real reason you stay has nothing to do with how much you invested. It's about something you refuse to admit. Start with the story you tell yourself. You call it loyalty. You call it commitment. You call it being the kind of person who finishes what they start. That story is comfortable because it turns the trap into a virtue. So instead of feeling stuck, you get to feel principled about it. But that's not loyalty. Loyalty is choosing something again because it's still right for you. This is you staying because you can't admit you were wrong. Here is why it hits so hard. Money spent is spent. Years spent are spent. And nothing you decide today reaches back and recovers any of it. The only honest question is what happens from here forward. Everybody understands that. Almost nobody applies it, because the math was never the problem. Losing something hits about twice as hard as gaining the same thing feels good. Psychologists call it loss aversion, and it means your brain will do almost anything to avoid the moment a loss becomes final. As long as you're holding on, it isn't a loss yet. It's an open position. It's a rough patch. Walking away is what makes it real, so you stall. There's a line people love from The Little Prince, that it's the time you wasted on your rose that makes your rose so important. It sounds beautiful on a page, and it's the exact logic keeping people chained to things that are quietly ruining them. But here's what actually runs the show, and it has nothing to do with math or biology. You told people you believed in this. You defended it at dinner tables, to family, to friends who asked careful questions and got a sharp answer. You built part of who you are around it. So walking away isn't just losing the thing, it's standing in front of everyone who watched you defend it, and admitting you were wrong. And most people would rather stay wrong and comfortable than be right and start over. That's not a thinking error, that's ego, and it's expensive. And today I'm going to give you 3 examples, so this is dead simple. First, the farmer. A farmer finds out his field is infected. The fix is brutal but simple. Burn what's in the ground, treat the soil, write off the season. But he's already paid for the seed, already worked the spring, and there's a crop standing there that looks fine from the road. So he sprays the edges and tells himself he'll salvage most of it. The infection stays in the soil and takes the next year too, and the year after that. He protected one season and lost 5 because he couldn't stand to be the man who burned his own field. Second, the investor. You bought into something years ago. Maybe it was a stock, a business, a career path you convinced yourself had a future. Then times changed. The company changed. The numbers stopped making sense. The thesis you built your conviction on quietly fell apart, and you know it. But you're still holding. Not because you believe in the recovery, because you can't stand the idea of locking in the loss. And the market has never cared how much you already put in. If you've watched yourself do this and couldn't stop, subscribe. That gap between knowing better and doing it anyway is the whole point of this channel. Now the third one, the one that hurts the most, the relationship. You're with someone who was right for a chapter that's already finished. It was good. None of it was a mistake at the time. But you want different things now. A family, a real future, a life they were never going to fit into, and you've known it for a while. And yet you stay. Not because you love them, but because leaving makes you the bad guy in a story where nobody did anything wrong. You'd rather absorb the whole thing than be the one who broke it. That reads as decency. It isn't. You're sparing yourself the conversation, and the bill comes due slowly. You start resenting them for a life you're not living. Worse, you start resenting yourself for not leaving. And so two people who genuinely liked each other stay stuck in something that stopped working long ago, both too scared to say the simple thing out loud. It's over, and it has been for a while. So how do you actually let go? You stop counting what you already put in. That's gone. It doesn't come back either way, so stop letting it decide anything. Here's what actually matters. Ask yourself two things. First, does this still fit where you're trying to go? Not where you were trying to go 3 years ago, or 5 years ago when you first got into it. Where you're trying to go today. Second, if you were starting today, knowing everything you know now, would you choose this again? If it's a no, you already have your answer. You're not staying out of loyalty. You're staying because leaving means admitting you were wrong. Stop. Let's be honest about what letting go actually means, because it is not gentle. If the farmer has to burn the whole field down to get his next 5 years, that's what he does. If the investor has to close the position at a real loss to stay profitable going forward, that's what he does. If you have to have the uncomfortable conversation and end it today, so you actually have a shot at finding someone who fits where your life is going, that's what you do. Every day you put it off is not a neutral day. It's a day you lose. Comfort isn't standing still. Comfort is moving backwards in slow motion. The only way out is to do the uncomfortable thing today, and to be objective about it. And that is one of the hardest things a person can do, because when it's your own decision, your own money, your own relationship, being objective is exactly the part that's hardest. That's not a character flaw. That's just the cost of having the future you actually want. Pay it today. Before you go, think of one specific thing in your life right now that you're only holding on to because of what you already put into it. Tell me what it is in the comments. YouTube thinks that the video popping on your screen right now is going to be good for you. I would trust it. See you in the next one.